Kinesiology. This is Craig, my kinesiologist.
Hi. I'll just explain very briefly what kinesiology is and how we implement it in looking at someone's overall health and well-being. Kinesiology is basically looking at the biomechanics of movement. Now, a lot of things that will affect your ability to move will be the other departments of the body, say the neurological side, the biochemical side, and the neurological pathways which control our movement, and in another aspect, the electromagnetic pathways. So our body works on a binary method. Our muscles works by switching on and switching off, contracting and relaxing. And when this is happily affected, our brain keeps us evenly balanced, 50-50 over a centre line. And we move over that line contralaterally. Now, if we were to bash our knee, our brain recognises that we have just become vulnerable. Our ability to move has just become impeded. So our brain will make rapid adjustments to help us get out of it. And with bashing the knee, we'll go over onto a good leg and we'll raise the injured leg to take the weight off the injured area. In order to do that, the brain has had to reset you. The leg that you've gone over onto, the quadricep muscles, the thigh muscles, have all gone tight. They're not going to relax because your weight's reliant on it. And on the opposite side, where you've been injured, the quadriceps have relaxed. Now this means that on the relaxed leg, your chest muscle, your front delt and your tricep have also relaxed because they coordinate together. But it also means that the opposite has worked here, so the pec, front delt, tricep and thighs this side have gone tight, and the reverse has occurred at the back. You're now twisting, you have a torque, your head goes over to the same side as you're favouring, your jaw moves in the other direction, you're now talking and you're now hopping. But what's also happened is you've changed internally. Your digestion slowed down, your hormone balance has changed, so all placatory and sedatory hormones have lowered, and all excitatory and strengthening hormones have higher. So you've physically, hormonally, biochemically and structurally gone out of alignment. And that's how we adjust for an injury, because that injury is causing stress to the body, stress to the brain. We can't move properly. If you have something that's not working at 100% internally, your brain will make the same physical adjustments in small increments to help placate that. So ideally, if we have a bad tummy, we'll acknowledge that and pull into it. Well, if that digestive process is a little bit troubling and it's on a more sensitive level, so that your brain's just picking it up and you're not really fully conscious of it, your brain will adapt you to help you get through it, i.e. you will make those subtle little changes. And that is what brings on the muscular aches and the pains and the joint problems. And they're the ones that you say, well, I must have been sleeping awkwardly, or I've been doing something. You can't account for how they've come on. It's accounted by the fact that your brain is acknowledging there's a problem somewhere else and it's moving you out of alignment. And kinesiology, and the kinesiology that I follow, which is based on the principles for proactive kinesiology by Trevor Gale. My business is called Performance Kinesiology, and our job, or my job, is to find out why you're moving out of alignment in the first place. You fix that and everything comes back into balance, or as you say, homeostasis. So it's very gentle, it's non-invasive, it works with you, not against you, and I don't have any preconceived ideas, thoughts or theories as to why you've got these problems. I allow the client to show me.
I've had 3 sessions now, haven't I?
Yeah.
With you.
Yeah.
So we've worked out, well, my digestion.
Yeah.
And then my knee.
And your sleep.
And my sleep.
Okay.
But my knee was just like, I don't know, that was just like a phase. Because I was like 1-2 days.
That's right.
Wasn't it?
What can happen before you actually acknowledge a pain, say, or a problem like with the knee or with your neck,
Yeah, really bad neck pain.
there will be other telltale signs going on, and that will be that you weren't sleeping properly. So we established that Shannon wasn't sleeping properly. Now, during your sleep, your digestive process is at its most active. That's why people can have indigestion last thing at night. So, if you're not sleeping properly, that means the sedatory hormones of melatonin and serotonin, sleep, digestion, have been lowered. And hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline have been higher, preventing you from going into a deep sleep. So the inability to sleep is now having a knock-on effect of affecting the digestion. When that happens, your brain, acknowledging that there's problems with the stomach, will move you out of alignment to try and placate it. And then that brings on the problems with the knee. So what we did was ask, well, why aren't you sleeping properly? We found out the reason, we dealt with that reason, we looked at the digestion, we found out that Shannon was a little bit low in good gut flora, a particular bacteria that is found mainly in the large intestine. Put her on a program of supplementation and let everything, like nature, take its course. So it is a series of assessments. So the sleep got better, the digestion's got better.
Yeah, because I was always waking up tired.
Yeah.
Like, even though I've had 8 hours sleep, I was still tired.
That's because this process was taking more out of you.
Yeah.
But then the knee came on. So the problems with the knee. So then we re-looked at that. And the knee problem was down to a big bowl of sugary, I won't name the company, of sugary cereal in the morning.
Yeah.
Asked Shannon for a few days to come off that, substitute it. Shannon went back, I think went back onto porridge, didn't
yeah.
you? The body's happy, it's realigning, it's digesting properly, and with that the brain goes, I can now bring you back into alignment. And that's where we are so far, and that's where we are today. And there's a little example and a little rundown on performance kinesiology. To start off with, when we're doing a kinesiology session, an assessment, we utilise the muscle test. And the muscle test is a very gentle amount of pressure is placed upon a muscle with the limb in the correct position. We're not testing the integrity of the muscle, but whether the brain has sent the full power of the nervous system down to those muscles to work efficiently. So remember, every muscle works by switching on and off. So the first thing we do is that we take Shannon's leg. Now in this position, I'm going to place some pressure just very gently onto her leg to move it forward. But Shannon should be able to maintain this position without having to put any effort into it. So I just say, hold. And that is just moving. So I know you can say, well, you've just taken your hand away, but if I put more pressure on, hold, that's going. So relax. Again, it's not saying Shannon's weak, it's just saying that how the brain is altering Shannon. In order to do so, it's going to have to relax one side so the other side can pull it round. Bring this out. Hold. And that's strong. So we'll put a bit more pressure on for you so you can see. Hold. That's not going anywhere. So there we have a little subtle difference. So this will show up in everyday work, rest play, where one leg or one hip feels a bit tired, or it will ache, or you'll find that you're standing somewhere and you're going over onto one leg. If you're training legs, one leg will feel pumped and the other leg will feel absolutely, coin a phrase, knackered. And then we tend to go by, well, I'm right-handed, I'm left-handed, so that will be the stronger side. There is an element to that through usage, because you will tend to favour your right leg or your right arm if you're that handed. But it doesn't really have any bearing when doing these subtle tests. Now, how it affects the hips is this. So, Shannon, you take your leg out here. Now, you keep your leg out towards the wall. I'm going to try and push it back in. So, push out, hold. And that's going.
I can't.
I'm going to take that as red. Right. Now, take this one out, push out towards the wall, hold, and that's strong.
Stronger.
So, without getting too technical, the reason these muscles are being switched off is because this strong leg is being placed in position by this leg, so that that leg can now hold position whilst this leg swings in. So these aren't being required because this leg's being placed. These muscles, the thigh muscles, are off. So the hip muscles here are the ones that are bringing this leg forward. You'll see if you're walking behind someone that one leg might tend to drift out and come back in. That would be the equivalent of this leg on Shannon. So, how do we fix it? You see, that's always the bit I've never quite mastered. So we'll just do a few quick, very subtle structural changes. So breathe in, and breathe out. When the muscles are all working in continuity, you should be able to perform certain tasks while still breathing, and you remain strong and stable. Now, let's bring this up. So, hold. So, what I want you to do now is bring this arm up, Shannon. So, this leg is the weak leg, as we perceive it. We've now engaged Shannon's walking gait. So now we're going to do that test again, hold, and that's still going. Now what I'm going to ask you to do, Shannon, is take your eyes top left, please. Hold, and now that's gone strong. You see, look, hold. Relax your leg. So Shannon, I'd like you to place your right palm on your right hip, left palm over, just take your eyes top left, and breathe in. And now once top right, breathe in, and breathe out, and relax. So the part of the sleep that Shannon is still having difficulty getting into is the deepest part of our sleep, where we relax, we rebalance, we recover, and we realign. So when we engage Shannon's walking gait first off, it was going weak, so relax, indicating that the shoulders and hip are out of alignment, so there's a torque and twist. What we did then was engage it and then ask Shannon to take her eyes top left, and Shannon went strong. So basically what's that saying is that if Shannon was getting down into that deep rebalancing sleep, in order to realign this part of the walking gait, Shannon's brain would go top left. Now at that time of the sleep, you'd be deep diaphragmatically breathing. So we just got Shannon to do that, physically engage. We've got Shannon take her eyes top left. Now you keep your eyes in neutral now, hold, and that's strong. Relax. So we do physically what the brain would do automatically if it was able to get into that deep recuperative rebalancing part of your sleep. So bring this up. So this was the weak leg, hold, that's now strong. Relax. This was the weak hip side, push out, Shannon, hold. There, and relax. And that was a brief introduction into the structural side of kinesiology. More information is available on Facebook, on my Facebook page, Performance Kinesiology.